that as Israel continues to indiscriminately rain bullets and bombs on worshipers, murdering the old, the young, attacking even funerals and graveyards, as it encourages lynch mobs to target Palestinian homes and businesses, as it imprisons its children.
Throughout the Holocaust, they prioritized building a Jewish state to actually saving living, existing Jews. So of that, there is really no doubt. I don't think even they can claim otherwise.
Hello, my name is Stanley Heller. Welcome to the Struggle Video News. The head of the Zionist Organization of America called her a Jew-hating monster. Morton Klein says her statement to globalize the Intifada is, quote, a demand to hunt down Jews throughout the world and murder them. He was talking about a speech by Fatima Mohammed, who had been chosen by the City University of New York graduates of their law school to give a speech at their graduation ceremony. Now, I think Morton Klein is vile and his press release is a vicious lie. But you make up your own mind. Here's Fatima Mohammed's entire talk.
We now come to the elected speakers for the class of 23, the student speakers. Every one of our graduating students has a powerful story to tell, and I know every student here possesses a strong commitment to social justice. You all chose two speakers from the graduating class who reflect this ethic, this ethos, and this passion. So I start by asking you to join me in welcoming Fatima Mohammed, elected by the graduating full-time pre-grad cohort, to offer remarks.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Dean Seti, for that introduction. I want to start by greeting you all with the greeting I know best. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May peace and blessings be upon you all. My name is Fatima Mohammed, and I come to you all from the rich soil of Yemen, raised by the humble streets of Queens. It is my honor, and I'm humbled, to be standing before you all as a selected class speaker, daytime speaker of the class of 2023. To all our loved ones, our parents, grandparents, siblings, partners, and friends, our comrades, aunts and uncles, and all the little kids in the crowd, those who made it and those who couldn't, we wouldn't be here without you. Thank you for your unwavering love. My mom's crying, so that means I have to start. Thank you for your unwavering love and support. This celebration is yours. This is a moment for those who paved the way for us to be here, those who wiped down our tears, those who are waiting ahead, and to those we now must open the doors. And now to the graduating class of 2023. Before I begin, I want to tell you all that my grandparents are in Yemen right now, and they assured me that there are fireworks lighting up the city of Aden in celebration of all of us. So just know that oceans away, there's a whole city on the other end of the earth, it feels like, celebrating you all. To the class of 2023, the moment we have all been waiting for is finally here. The class that began this journey during a season of grief, a season where ambulance trucks were the only noise in town and our neighborhoods became sort of ghost towns, where we watched our immigrant parents keep the city on its feet as they saw bodies packed into refrigerated morgue trucks. The class that saw nothing but black Zoom square boxes for the first 2 years. There's a lot I can say about the loss and the pain we've all endured over the last 3 years, but I am reminded of Frantz Fanon's words. Things get bad for all of us, almost continually, and what we do under the constant stress reveals who and what we are. And so I'm here to celebrate who and what we are, who you are. Like many of you, I chose CUNY School of Law for its articulated mission to be law in the service of human needs. One of very few legal institutions created to recognize that the law is a manifestation of white supremacy that continues to oppress and suppress people in this nation and around the world. We joined this institution to be equipped with the necessary legal skills to protect our communities, to protect the organizers fighting endlessly day in and out with no accolades, no cameras, no votes, no PhD grants, working to lift the facade of legal neutrality and confront the systems of oppression that wreak violence on them. Systems of oppression created to feed an empire with a ravenous appetite for destruction and violence. Institutions created to intimidate, bully, and censor and stifle the voices of those who resist. In this moment of celebrating who we are, I want to celebrate CUNY Law as one of the few, if not the only law school, to make a public statement defending the right of its students to organize and speak out against Israeli settler colonialism. That this is the law school that passed and endorsed BDS on a student and faculty level. Recognizing that absent a critical imperialism, settler colonialism lens, our work and this school's mission statement is void of value. That as Israel continues to indiscriminately rain bullets and bombs on worshipers, murdering the old, the young, attacking even funerals and graveyards, as it encourages lynch mobs to target Palestinian homes and businesses, as it imprisons its children, as it continues its project of settler colonialism, expelling Palestinians from their homes, carrying the ongoing Nakba, that our silence is no longer acceptable. We are the student body and faculty that fought back when investor-focused admin attempted to cross the BDS picket line, saying loud and clear that Palestine can no longer be the exception to our pursuit of justice, that our morality will not be purchased by investors. We are the class that fought for incarcerated clients and zealously filed for their clemency applications with nearly zero institutional support. We are the class that fought for clients to get asylum, that went to court to reunite families torn apart by ACS and the family surveillance. We are the class that organized against using Lexis, a legal research company contracted with ICE. And we did all of this in spite of the racism, in spite of the selective activism, the self-serving interests of CUNY Central, an institution that continues to fail us, that continues to train and cooperate with the fascist NYPD, the military, that continues to train IDF soldiers to carry out that same violence globally, a larger institution committed to its donors, not to its students. I am here to remind us all that our existence on its own today in this room is revolutionary. That as we embark on our legal careers, we must practice a discipline of truth and courage and hold ourselves true to the mission statement we came to this school for. So today I celebrate the courage and bravery that got us here, and I celebrate every moment of resilience that sets us apart as the #1 leading public interest school in this nation. I see before my eyes brilliant future public defenders. I see brilliant immigration attorneys, housing attorneys, business attorneys, civil rights attorneys, and movement lawyers. I see professors and librarians. I see before me future practitioners who will work on contracts to end partnerships with ICE and not intellectual property contracts to secure designs for the newest drone technology murdering children. I see future lawyers who will defend tenants in court and not those that dispossess our communities from their homes. I see future attorneys who will protect the communities terrorized by the surveillance state and not protect the agents of oppression that carry out that terror. Future lawyers who will fight to keep families together and not tear them apart. I see future lawyers who will work to make this world a better place, one person, one movement at a time. I see a class to be rejoiced, a class to be celebrated, a class to be remembered today and in the years ahead. And as we celebrate who we are today, let us actively fight against the collective amnesia and cognitive dissonance that limits our understanding of the world to what is only directly before our eyes. Let us remember that Gaza just this week has been bombed with the world watching. That daily, brown and black men are being murdered by the state at Rikers. That there are Palestinian political prisoners like HLF in US prisons. That there are refugees at the southern border still locked up. That yesterday marked 1 year since the murder of US journalist Shireen Abu Akleh, and that the murder of black men like Jordan Neely by a white man on the MTA is dignified by politicians like Eric Adams and Senator Chuck Schumer. We leave our classes and we leave the school to a world that so desperately needs us to stand alongside those who have given up for the sake of liberation far more than we could imagine. So may the joy and excitement that fills the auditorium here, may the rage that fills this auditorium dance in the hallways of our elementary schools, in our home villages of Sheikh Jarrah, Aden, Yemen, Haiti, Puerto Rico, and the Philippines. May it be rejoiced in the corners of our New York City bedroom apartments and dining tables. May it be the fuel for the fight against capitalism, racism, imperialism, and Zionism around the world. No one person will save the world. No single movement will liberate the masses. Those who brunt the ferocity of the violence, those who carry the revolution, the people, the masses, those who brunt the ferocity of the violence, those who need our protection, they will carry this revolution. The revolution that lives so loudly despite not being televised. No longer are we going to capitulate to oppressors? No longer are we going to put our hope in their depraved consciousness. And as the great Malcolm X said, we declare our right on this earth to be a man, to be a human being, to be respected as a human being, to be given the rights of a human being in this society, on this earth, in this day, which we intend to bring into existence by any means necessary. So one client at a time, one case at a time, one hearing at a time, we will show up for our communities. We will show up for ourselves. And we will protect the fight that brings us all closer to the fall of all oppressive institution, a reality that is only myopic and unrealistic to the oppressors, but is the inevitable future for the oppressed. For oppressed people everywhere. For greater empires of destruction have fallen before, and so will these. So to the class of 2023, the fight begins now.
Not a trace of anti-Semitism. She doesn't say the word Jew or Jewish, and nothing she said is a dog whistle for Jews. This Yemeni American woman does powerfully indict the state of Israel for its various crimes, but at no time does she blame the Jewish people for them. As Al Jazeera put it, her accusations seem to correspond with recent Israeli conduct, including attacks on worshippers inside Al-Aqsa Mosque during the Islamic holy month of Ramadan, and a police assault on slain Al Jazeera journalists Shireen Abu Akla's funeral last year. But the Zionist Organization of America chief wrote, her Nazi-like rant was more than merely a hate speech spewing negativity and divisiveness. The monster Hitler himself would have been proud of her insane, satanic oratory, reminiscent of those given in the Munich beer halls and Nazi rallies. Morton Klein demands, 1, CUNY investigate and fire those at CUNY Law School, including Dean Sudha Sethi, who introduced Mohammed. 2, that judges disqualify Fatima Mohammed from obtaining a law license. And 3, that there be a withdrawal of major funding from CUNY's law school. These things haven't happened, but the chancellor of the law school and the law school board claimed Mohammed's talk was hate speech, and New York's ex-police officer and current mayor Eric Adams said if he had been on the podium, he'd have interrupted the speech to condemn what was being said. On June 1st, Democracy Now! Reported Fatima Mohammed was being sent death threats. Final point about ZOA man Klein, who can't say 3 sentences without claiming anti-Semitism. His Zionist Organization of America gave its highest award last year to Donald J. Trump. Now from the Israeli organization B'Tselem, video of what happened after a traffic accident in East Jerusalem in March. A young man had been hit by a car, but when the ambulance arrived with 2 Israeli police officers, they wouldn't let the medics take the injured man into the ambulance, saying they had to do an investigation first. An argument ensued. A crowd developed. Pushing began. And then the Israeli police started firing into the air. Mohammed Abdu, the 17-year-old brother of the injured man, was beaten and arrested. And then, hours later, let go without any charge at all.
אני לא מדליק אותך, יאללה. Trigger warning. We're going to show about 20 seconds of what Mohammed Abdu looked like after his treatment by the Israeli police.
Remember, this had nothing to do with a protest. It was all about a traffic accident. If there had been a protest, Mohammed Abdu would never have been let go without being given many charges. On June 1st, we remembered Razan al-Najjar, the Palestinian medic shot dead by Israelis in the Gaza Strip. Ever hear of the GBI? The state of Georgia has its own version of the FBI. The GBI this week raided the Stop Cop City Bail Fund office. That's right, a group that raises money to bail people out of jail for their resistance to Cop City. The GBI arrested 3 people. The judge released the 3 on a very low bond, expressing concerns about their free speech rights and saying he did not find the prosecution's case, at least for now, quote, real impressive, unquote. Don't have a lot of time to talk about Ukraine today, but note this tweet honoring Russian journalist Maria Ponomarendo, who has been sentenced to 6 years in prison for fake news about the Russian army. Putin's government actually hates her for reporting about the Russian bombardment of the Ukrainian theater in Mariupol. And this from Ukrainian leftist Vladislav Starodubtsov, who retweets a message to President Zelensky from a Syrian on the day that the Ukrainian president met with the Arab League, the same league that has welcomed the mass killer Assad back to its ranks. This is really funny, but it's all true. Back in 2020, one Tara Reade accused Joe Biden of sexually assaulting her some years in the past. Her charges were treated respectfully, but they didn't go anywhere. Eventually, her own lawyer decided to drop the case. Inevitably, she started a podcast. In February, she was one of the speakers at the farcical Rage Against the War Machine rally in Washington, D.C., along with the alt-leftists, gray zone conspiracists, LaRouchites, and libertarians. Well, we learned last week that Reade has gone to Russia to seek refuge there from nice guy Putin out of fears for her safety and because she doesn't like the U.S. helping Ukraine. And 2 graphics in honor of Gay Pride Month this June. Now from an interview I did with Tony Greenstein. I'll be speaking to Tony Greenstein, a British activist and blogger, about his book, Zionism During the Holocaust, the weaponization of memory to serve nation and state. I think it's a fine book, and he has a massive number of links and footnotes. He goes right to the facts and the details. One thing I like about it is what I would call the positives, the people and groups who during the Holocaust did work to save Jews, and I hope we can get into that at some point. He'll be speaking to us from Brighton on the west shore of Great Britain. Good afternoon, Tony.
Good afternoon. It's the southern shore, actually.
Okay.
It's on the south.
Thanks for the geography lesson. So let me start in perhaps an unusual way. I'm a retired school teacher. I want you to give an overall grade for the conduct of Zionist leaders during the Holocaust. On a scale of A to F, how would you grade their efforts to lead and protect Jews during that time?
Oh, well, A. I mean, it is the lowest, without a doubt.
Well, over here, F is the lowest.
Is it? Oh, right. Sorry, I wasn't sure which. Well, in that case, F. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Definitely a fail. Throughout the Holocaust, they prioritized building a Jewish state to actually saving living existing Jews. So of that, there is really no doubt. I don't think that even they can claim otherwise.
So let's get into the details. Your book concentrates on the Holocaust period, but we do have to go back at least into the 1930s with the takeover of Germany by Hitler. Did the Zionists lead the fight against Hitler?
At no stage did they lead any fight against Hitler. As Donald Newak points out, there were occasions when they stood shoulder to shoulder with him and heckling the bourgeois leaders of the German Jewish community for their admittedly feeble attempts to combat anti-Semitism. So no, I mean, Zionism accepted that the Nazis were essentially correct. When the Nazis said Jews were aliens and not part of the German nation, the Zionists said yes. And of course, the Nazis used what the Zionists were saying for their own purposes. So absolutely not. In any case, let's be clear about it. The Zionists represented, what, 2% of the German Jewish community? They were a fringe movement. They were unimportant. And of course, you know, I mean, every group and every people in their struggle has collaborators, and the Zionists were our collaborators.
You can see the full interview on YouTube. Just search for The Struggle Video News. That's all the time we have for today. See you next week at this time. I'm Stanley Heller for The Struggle Video News.